Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we're going to be doing the first part of What If Naruto Was a Fox Sage Remastered. I know I missed out today, which was supposed to be part 10 of What If Deku had the stat leveling quirk, but I'm either going to make it on Sunday or Monday. It's going to be in the very near future. If you want to see further parts of this What If, then please subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you enjoyed the video, please like and tell me what you think I should improve on for the next parts to make this What If as great as possible. There's nothing much else I want to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
I remember doing What If Naruto Was a Fox Sage, and it certainly did really well. However, I just ended up rushing it and throwing away the series. Now I want to redo it, make it better, and actually keep it going for a good while. I just want to thank BeanPaste_YT for suggesting this What If a while back and just constantly giving me great What If ideas. A lot of the What If ideas I have done in the past have been suggested by this guy, and I have nothing but thanks and appreciation for the suggestions. The problem with my old What If is that there's a massive plot hole in the What If as a whole. Jiraiya isn't in it at all. I tried to reason with this mistake by saying there wasn't a 100% chance of this happening, but that just sounds like an excuse for my mistake. Here, I'm still going to make Naruto train with Jiraiya. There isn't much I can do to prevent that. However, once Jiraiya performs the 5 elements on Seal, things start to change. Kurama sees that there's a chance for him to try and use Naruto to break the seal, and he puts forward a suggestion. After his first day of training with Jiraiya, he is resting when he feels cool air brush past his skin. Every sound almost echoes around him as if he's in a massive hall. He opens his eyes and is revealed to be within his subconscious. Ahead of him stands a large gate that he's seen only once before. I need to be strong. Give me something to make me stronger, Fox, Naruto orders, staring right into the slit pupils of the demon Fox. Perhaps I can teach you a technique of mine. You people would call it Fox Sage Mode, Kurama suggests with a slight grin on his face. Fine, how do I do this Fox Sage Mode, Naruto asks. Kurama steps further forward in his cage so he can make eye contact with the boy. You need to be able to sense natural energy. Natural energy is all around you, but many are unable to see this power as a whole. It will take some time, but it will be worth it in the end. Naruto begins doing this and he feels pretty much nothing, as he should. Kurama isn't surprised, but he carries on doing this once he's done with Jiraiya's training. After about a week, he is quite unmotivated. Day by day, he feels absolutely nothing from this training. However, something changes. He crosses his legs and begins what he's been doing for a good while. The same stuff happens, but then he feels something flowing around him. It isn't wind and it feels almost nourishing. He instinctively absorbs some of the energy around him, but it's expelled from his body almost immediately. He finds it weird and asks Kurama about what's going on. What's going on? I felt it and I absorbed it, but it just disappeared. Kurama gives him advice and says you absorbed far too little. Once you begin the absorption, carry on doing it until you feel physical changes. However, don't go too far forward because you will turn into a fox forever. Forever? Naruto asks loudly, feeling more scared about learning this technique. Yes, be very careful with the absorption. I will also watch you closely. Jiraiya is currently teaching him chakra control and also how to willingly take chakra from the nine-tailed fox. From Naruto's closeness with Kurama, he can easily ask for his power and have it given to him. He does it frequently and even asks Kurama about if he can mix his chakra with the spiritual energy from the surroundings. Kurama finds the suggestion quite smart and says that it's possible just to get out from his restraints quicker. If he can get Naruto close to him and also get him to frequently use his power, it won't be long until he is finally free. Also, most of his wounds are healed by Kurama and it makes his training even better. If he goes too far in his training, Kurama will be right there to use his powers and heal him. The devilish fox even encourages this as it makes Naruto use his chakra even more. Naruto has also prioritized physical training more. When he is done with his training with Jiraiya, he relentlessly trains his chakra training and Sage Mode training. He is much stronger than in canon and has a slightly better physique. It's only a month of training, so he can't really get all that big. During one of the last days of training, he starts meditating to use Sage Mode. He feels the natural energy rather quickly and promptly begins the absorption of the energy. He actually absorbs much more than he ever has, and his hair lightens out to a pure white. He also grows longer claws and fangs within his mouth. His muscles enlarge slightly and he can feel that in his body. Before these changes get out of control, he stops absorbing any more natural energy. He opens his eyes and sees his new body. His whiskers are much thicker and he has red outlines on the edge of his eyes. His pupils have also become slit and he has much more shaggy hair. Good job, Naruto. You have achieved one of the most imperfect forms of Sage Mode. There isn't much more to go before you have the perfect form, Kurama says, being quite impressed. Naruto throws a few punches and leaps up to a tree branch with ease. Whoa, he whispers. Looking down at the ground below, he dives down and makes a small roll before standing. His Sage Mode fades and the natural energy is expelled from his body completely. The few final days come to an end, and Naruto is quite a bit stronger than his canon self. He is definitely stronger, but he merely has way more power enhancement. He has a much easier time enhancing his body through the easy access to Kurama's chakra and his new Fox Sage mode. Everything else is basically the same. The rest of the matches go similar until the match with Naruto and Neji. Naruto knows of Neji's level of skill and knows he will be a very strong opponent. He begins by bringing out a kunai and speaking to his Sage mode mentor. "I'm gonna need your chakra, give me quite a bit." "As you please," Kurama says jokingly, raising one of his long and sharp claws. Demonic chakra floods through Naruto's body and invigorates him. He uses chakra to enhance the kunai and it cloaks the weapon. He runs ahead and throws the kunai ahead of him at high speed. Neji easily knocks it away but is surprised by its speed. Naruto rummages into his pouch and throws out 3 more shuriken ahead of himself. Neji knocks away all 3, but they actually transform into 3 separate shadow clones of Naruto. They all approach Neji and occupy him with the enhanced strength of Naruto. Neji is still able to deal with all 3 clones and actually takes him down in seconds alone. As he does this, Naruto throws an opening strike and forces Neji to catch the attack. Neji raises a brow from the orange chakra flowing through his body and also the aura enveloping his body. He's never seen such a demonic aura from anybody before, and his strength is also surprising. He gets sent sliding back about 2 meters before knocking Naruto back with a punch of his own. Naruto kicks Neji back, who blocks, and he leaps over his opponent to throw down 2 separate shuriken. Neji dodges both, and while Naruto is still airborne, he creates 10 separate shadow clones to completely surround his opponent. While he does this, he falls back several meters and begins absorbing natural energy and forming Senjutsu chakra. He carries on doing this while Neji is just occupied with the clones. Naruto's clones are much faster and stronger than normal from Kurama's chakra and forces Neji to put more effort into defending himself. Once he takes out the very last clone, he sees Naruto standing with his eyes closed from a distance. Neji blitzes towards his opponent and flips into the air, planning to strike down with a heel kick. Before Naruto even opens his eyes, he feels the disruption of natural energy around him and steps back, dodging the incoming attack. He also slips past the next one and actually lands a swift strike to Neji's chin. He flips right over his swift opponent and finally opens his eyes, alongside making a wide smile. Naruto turns around to face his opponent and dodges a strike. He throws a punch of his own and it's also dodged. Both fighters go at it and actually dodge every single of each other's attacks. Neji is surprised by Naruto's stunning power and fighting capabilities. However, he has to end the fight now. He rushes right in and hits Naruto directly with the 64 palms. He falls back onto the ground and can't even get himself back up. The feeling from this attack is very confusing. It didn't hurt him very much, but he just feels weak and frozen. He still stands back up slowly and stares down the sprinting opponent. He gets hit directly in the face and sent onto the ground. However, he uses all of his strength to roll to the side and raise to his feet. He throws a sluggish punch at Neji, but he easily dodges and kicks Naruto directly in the chest. Since his body is difficult to move, his reflexes to keep himself upright are nullified. He falls directly onto his back and just slides across the battlefield. During this movement, he starts to feel more movement in his body. He reveals more kunai and infuses each of these weapons with his new Senjutsu chakra. He blurs ahead and so does Neji. He throws a kunai ahead of himself and it flies so fast that it literally makes a whistling noise. It hits right into Neji and actually stabs into his arm bone. Naruto then slashes across his gut and then slashes with his newly grown claws. He then knees Neji in the gut and stabs a kunai directly into his back. Neji screams from the pain and drops to the ground as Naruto stops supporting him. Neji tries to sweep at his legs, but Naruto dodges the attack without even seeing the attack. To finish, Naruto lands a powerful stomp right on Neji's head and knocks his head directly onto the grassy ground. His hair changes colour to his natural blonde and he expels the natural energy from his body after use of his imperfect Sage mode. "That was an impressive match, Naruto," Kurama says, trying to develop his connection to Naruto. "Thanks, I didn't know I could literally feel attacks coming towards me. I didn't even have to keep my eyes open during that fight." The whole Konoha crush begins and Sasuke rushes off to try and finish his match with his sand manipulating opponent Gaara. Naruto is easily outmatched by Sasuke's speed and he hasn't even arrived in time to see the start of Sasuke's bout. However, he gets close enough to see Sasuke and see that he's in danger. He then demands for a lot of Kurama's chakra. This gives him many fox-like features across his body and also thickens his whiskers. He dives down with such chakra and slashes right at Gaara's sand arm. Sasuke is exhausting himself with the curse mark and shouts down to Naruto, "No, this is my fight to finish." He can barely get the words out through his intense panting. Naruto kicks Gaara down from the branch and throws out a kunai. It stabs into his sand and has no effect. Naruto then reveals a paper bomb and drops down to a lower branch. He starts tying such paper bomb to a kunai and infusing its powerful demon chakra before Sasuke is knocked off the branch by Gaara's extending arm. Sasuke bangs into a tree trunk and is pulled down the coarse and rough bark. He then slams into the grass below, severely injuring him. Naruto sees this happen and gets even more enraged. He shouts into the air in fury, which is backed by a lower fox growl. He leaps down from his branch and propels his kunai ahead at very high speed. The throw is precise and stabs right into Gaara's sandy arm. The paper bomb explodes and Naruto drops him with a downwards punch. Sakura arrives and promptly gets the healing Sasuke. Gaara extends out a sand spike, but Naruto jumps directly forward, getting impaled by such spike. He coughs blood and shakily signals for Sakura to leave. "Please help Sasuke," he says, while shaking from the pain of the stab. Gaara pulls back on the spike and Naruto instantly drops to his knees. Gaara swings his arm from below and knocks Naruto airborne into a branch. He flies down from such branch and hits the ground, weak from the attack. Kurama starts to heal the wound, but he still feels frail. While he is on the ground, he starts absorbing natural energy and forming Senjutsu chakra. From this weakness, he's been given ultimate focus. While he does this, he finds the perfect balance and reaches perfect Fox Sage mode. The Fox traits just aren't really there, to be honest. His canines are a little larger and he has slit pupils alongside red irises. Other than that, there isn't any Fox traits he has. He still possesses his white hair and has paler red outlines. He opens his eyes and bounces up to his feet with new power. Sakura is currently running from Gaara and trying to keep Sasuke safe. In seconds, she gets caught and almost hit by a devastating punch. However, his punch is caught by a powerful Naruto. "Don't touch her." He throws his arm back and swings at his jaw, knocking him to the side. Naruto then steps off a nearby branch, diving down with a spinning heel kick. Gaara gets knocked back a few more steps and lashes out with a vicious strike. Naruto closes his eyes and steps to the side with ease. After doing this, he throws a kunai at Gaara perfectly. Gaara gets stabbed in his eye and screams out in pain. Blood seeps into his sandy arms, and seeing his blood again makes him even more furious. He gains even more sand features and fully transforms into half Shukaku. Half Shukaku meaning that basically the top half of his body is Shukaku and the bottom half is himself. You'll get what I mean if you search it up. He roars down to Naruto, but he stays calm and starts to calculate to the best of his ability. "Kurama, how long can I do this for?" "Not long. There is a limit to your Sage Chakra, but you have more than enough power to take this redhead down." Naruto smirks and says, "Okay, that's good." He blurs forwards and surprises Sakura by his speed. The speed surpasses the speed that Sasuke displayed in the match against Naruto's current opponent. He strikes at Gaara's head and launches him into a tree. He advances and flips twice before swinging out with a kick. He then slams Gaara into the ground with a double arm slam. He literally cracks the ground below and stops Gaara moving. He passes out and Naruto steps away from him. His hair returns to blonde and he expels the natural energy from his body. Naruto runs over to Sasuke and starts helping him alongside Sakura. He gets him up onto a tree and he eventually awakes, making both Naruto and Sakura exhale with happiness. Just for some scaling, let's get into the scaling for Naruto's different forms. Naruto's base is the weakest form of himself, no enhancement, just him. The next is Naruto with Kurama's chakra. This is the amount that gives him no Fox features and just makes him stronger. Then it's Kurama Influence Naruto. This form of Naruto gives him the Fox features from when he destroyed Haku's Kekkei Genkai Ice Dome in the Land of Waves arc. He is far stronger in this form and is a much more deadly fighter. Next is Imperfect Sage Mode. Imperfect Sage Mode likely far outclasses Kurama Influence Naruto. However, I'd say that One-Tail Kyuubi Cloak Naruto is equal if not stronger than this form. If you disagree with the scaling, please put so in the comments and I can change it to a more acceptable form. This means that the form definitely isn't weak and makes Naruto far stronger. Next and finally is Perfect Sage Mode Naruto. Perfect Sage Mode Naruto is way more powerful than his other forms and literally puts him far above his comrades. With this power, he scales above Sasuke, Gaara, and even Neji. It's incredible. Even with his fight with Gaara, he was holding back a little and wasn't trying all that much. Naruto and Jiraiya then go on to arrive at a hotel and continue with Naruto's training. Naruto continues with perfecting his Sage Mode abilities and powers. He can get into Imperfect Sage Mode quicker and also has better chakra control. He frequently utilizes chakra infusing with weaponry and also taijutsu. But mainly he can overwhelm his opponents with a bunch of shadow clones through using Kurama's chakra. A certain someone knocks on the door and he opens it to see Itachi's Sharingan. He prepares for battle. He steps out from his hotel room and Kasame pulls out his sword which starts sucking at his chakra. Naruto starts trying to go into Sage Mode and Kurama clouds his man with a scary roar. "Do not use Sage Mode." Naruto promptly stops and asks why. Itachi raises a brow from this and wonders why he just blurted out why randomly. Sage Chakra is a mix of chakra and natural energy. That sword will decrease the amount of chakra you possess, and if you keep steady levels of natural energy, you will turn to stone. "No, what should I do?" he asks out loud once again. Kasame raises his sword and says to Itachi, "Who is he talking to?" Itachi just shrugs his shoulders and Kurama says, "They'll just absorb my chakra, just run." As Naruto begins to turn around, Sasuke speeds past him to try and attack Itachi. He leaps ahead and throws forward his crackling Chidori, only for Itachi to grab his shirt and slam him into a close by wall. Sasuke drops such arm and Itachi says that he still doesn't have enough hate. Naruto starts trying to run but sees Jiraiya ahead of him. "Get away!" So that will conclude the first part of what Naruto was a Fox Sage. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this because I certainly enjoyed making it. Further parts of this what if are to come in the near future and I really hope you guys enjoy what I've got in store for you. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.